I'm the color red in a world full of black and white.
Brace for the change, brace for the rage, brace for the wave. I've been going through it. Y'all know the pain, driving insane, deep in your veins. Y'all know how I prove it. Strut through the lanes, gripping the grain. Miles an hour, yeah, miles of fluid. Mask on, asking, why should I do it? Because no one is moving. I came from the swamp, the mud. Algorithm told me I was the plug. Feel for the fiend, you know what I mean. I've been through all of the lesson and hugs, and that is because abandon all hope who enter here. So listen clear, I made your dreams. Fireflies don't disappear.
Everywhere.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Fireflies Forever. And I kind of undersold it there. It's not really just another episode. Unless you have avoided all things social media and television, all media in general, over the last several days, you know that the Wyatt Sicks are back. And we got a lot to talk about. I can't wait to hear from everyone in the chat. First, let me bring on Chris. Chris, man, how you doing this week?
I'm doing great. Super excited. I mean, we couldn't ask for much more than that, could we?
Right, yeah, man. So, good weekend, and we'll get into all of it because there's a lot to break down. lot to break down. But yeah, I'm really happy that we got this when we did, and I feel like it was needed in a few ways. But we'll talk about the significance of when they came back. We'll talk about what happened and the moment that I think probably many of us asked who was cutting onions. I certainly,
I know they were cutting them in my house too. I don't know what was going on.
I think there was some like national day that we didn't know about that somebody just created on social media. That's like National Cutting Onions Day, and it just happened. So
I love too that we did our tribute episode to Jodie last week, and then all of a sudden we got the Wyatt Sicks come back. I mean, that's perfect.
Perfect, man. It was just meant to be that way.
Yep.
It's just meant to be. But yeah, I want to welcome everyone in that's joining us this evening. Thank you all so much joining us from Facebook, from YouTube, from Twitch. We appreciate you. I know I'm going to forget this later on, so I'm just going to get it out of the way now. If you don't mind, folks, drop a like on the video. And if you are new to the channel, first we want to say welcome. We're glad you're here. Hopefully you share your thoughts and ideas and theories this evening with us. Let's subscribe to the channel. Join the family. We're here every Tuesday on Fireflies Forever to talk about all things Wyatt Sicks. So, Chris, man, you ready to get into the show?
Sure am. Let's do it.
All right, man, let's do it. So as we always do, we start with memories of Jodie, and I know you have a couple photos this week and a video, so I just wanted to have you set that up, and we'll talk about everything on the other side.
Yeah, so I got to go to the Indy 500 this year for the first time since 2019. Had an awesome time at that. Great, absolute great weather. It was like 68 and cloudy. A lot of times on race day, it's 95 degrees and 90% humidity. It's miserable. So it was awesome for that. But I just wanted to share a couple pictures and a little video of the last time I went to the 500, which was in 2019 with Jodie. Just kind of reminisce about that since it was race day. I sat in almost a very similar spot to where me and Jodie sat last time too.
Oh wow!
Very very close anyway.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, that day was definitely a lot hotter than race day this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, this picture here, I'm a little bit popped there. We were hanging out in turn 3 with some friends and stuff, having some adult beverages.
Nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah, it was a
Got to
good.
enjoy the race.
Yep. Yeah, and then
All right.
this the video clip I'm going to show here is just to give anyone a little taste of what it's like at the Indy 500 and having being close to cars going 230 miles an hour. What that looks like.
All right, here we go. That is
They're
wild.
fast. Very, very fast.
That's wild, man. That is crazy. Man,
Yeah,
like
it's a
going
whole
that
other level of speed compared to what you feel like you're going fast. You do 80 in your car on the highway. Like this is not it's on another level.
man, that's let me ask you this, standing that close, can you feel the
Oh,
I'm
100%. You can feel the wind coming off those. I mean, I've seen it almost knock people over if they weren't prepared for it, knock
yeah,
their hat off, stuff like that. Yeah, it's definitely a strong force.
I'm letting Jesse know that it's okay. Send it to me and we'll get it on for next week.
Mhm.
All the artwork. So that's what I'm pumped about now that they're back, is because
So
I know
yeah,
it's going to
hopefully everybody
inspire.
get the creative juices flowing and get us some more artwork.
Yeah. It's going to inspire a lot of creativity. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for sharing these, Chris, man,
Hmm.
as always. Um,
Yeah, I definitely miss not having her there with me this time, but I'll always think about her anytime I go out to the track. That's for sure.
yeah, I know she definitely loved it. She
Oh yeah.
talked about the races a lot and, enjoying going out there. So, yeah, absolutely. Well, something else she enjoyed was artwork, and doggone it, we enjoy it too. So,
Yep.
um, so we're gonna show a few pieces of art this week. I'm gonna skip over the obligatory um, slide because we don't have to worry about that right now. So I'm happy. Um, but here we go. Here's the start of the first one we've got here. The Fiend, Bluey, Wyatt. I love this.
That's hilarious.
And that Jesse sent that one over, and I just thought this was the most
Yeah.
adorable thing.
We need a
So
cartoon of that.
yeah, yeah, we do. But no, that's awesome.
Hmm.
All right, here's the next.
Yeah, this one definitely got me in the feels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too, man. Yeah, another great piece. Black mass design.
Yeah, I love this one.
Yeah, always does awesome stuff, man.
Oh yeah.
Always. And then we saw this one we saw one like this a couple weeks ago, but I'm glad you found another.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you found it.
Yeah.
I hope they keep
so
these going.
great.
I hope they keep these going.
Oh, I know.
They're great.
Makes me want a whole new line of Garbage Pail Kid cards.
Yeah. And as we we last week we paid tribute to Jodie, and on Friday it was Wyndham's birthday, Bray's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to show a couple pictures, and I got to shout out friend of the show, Jason Baker, because he made a little boy's dream come true on his birthday.
Yeah, that was so awesome.
Yeah, man. Hi, Danny. Welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. Yeah, this was so awesome.
Yeah, he even got his mom to ring announce for him.
Yeah, yeah. Not gonna lie, man. That again, National Cutting Onions Day.
Yep.
Because man, that one got me.
Oh yeah.
Um, that one got me. Um, and then speaking of Jason,
Hmm.
paying tribute to Bray,
Yep.
saying happy birthday. But yeah, man, this was awesome. And we're gonna get, well, I got one more here, and then JoJo. Um,
Yeah, this one really got me just because
yeah,
I felt the exact same way that she did on Jodie's birthday.
yeah, yeah. It's so relatable to you. So yeah, absolutely, man. Man, we might as well show the other tribute and go ahead to the cutting onions part. But this,
Yeah.
man,
No, I completely lost it as soon as I saw the cake and
hmm
just started blubbering like a baby.
yeah,
I'm not afraid to admit that.
me either, man, me either. And not only that, but I mean, obviously the cake is symbolic and it
Hmm.
means a lot. But the detail, the red, the black,
Yeah.
the fact that it looks like a top hat.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's
Oh
just
yeah.
so many different things,
And
man.
then just on top of the emotion of seeing them come back finally, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So just so much there, man. So much there. So um let's get into their return. Um I think all of us are ready to talk about that moment.
Yeah.
Um let me ask you, Chris, in the chat, what did you think of their return? Just overall thoughts of their return, and we'll get into specifics as we go on.
Yeah, we've talked about it before on our channel. We all pitched ideas of how we would bring them back and stuff, and a lot of us mentioned things like another massacre, things like that. Would be a good way to come back. Didn't even think about this, and it turns out I can't picture anything any better than the way they did it. Being on Bray's birthday and coming, just showing up and just laying waste to everyone, and then the cake. I mean, oh, it's perfect.
Yeah, it was great.
I wish Jodie was here because I so bad. That was the only thing I thought was I saw the end. I was like, oh, I wish you could see this.
Yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, she definitely would have loved it. That
Oh
would
yeah.
have been one of those moments on stream too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, me and Jeff were talking about this before the show. I hadn't heard any of the dirt sheet leaks or anything that supposedly they were backstage or they were going to show up tonight. I went into it completely blind. I knew it was Bray's birthday, and I thought, well, there's a chance maybe they might do something or come back being
Yeah,
Bray's birthday. But the longer the show went on, I thought, no, it doesn't seem like nothing's going to happen. And then the lights go out, and I just yelled out, oh, shit. Totally caught me by surprise. Loved it.
yeah, yeah. I do have a little bit of. I know it's not between the ropes, but I do have a little grievance I'd like to air later on, referring to just that
Yeah.
because I was unfortunate and had it spoiled for me. Um, so yeah, but it was still great for me nonetheless. So I'm not saying that it wasn't great because it was great, but I wish I would have had that element of surprise and
Hmm.
just be like, oh, oh crap, have a Chris moment.
Yeah.
Uh, Christopher said the Wyatt Sicks coming back was awesome.
Hmm.
Marvin, the Wyatt Sicks coming back was great. Odin's son was actually more unexpected, which was great. The Wyatt Sicks coming back was a surprise too. Didn't expect it. Sean saying, "What's up, Sean?" Saying, "I loved it once the lights went off. I was shocked, and to see them all standing in the ring was awesome. Completely agree." So, what did you think of who they attacked? Chris and chat?
I thought it was great. I liked that they, they kind of not quite the massacre level, but they destroyed everyone that was out there. It didn't care who it was or whatever. They went after everyone, which I love that. I think that was a really cool way to do it. That just cause a big scene and take out everyone, regardless of who or why or anything. I think they just wanted to cause chaos.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's perfectly okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think it's perfectly okay. And let's get to that point because Chris, you sent over a post from someone, and
Mm-hmm.
we talked a little bit about it before the show, but I just want you to share your thoughts on this, and I also want to get the thoughts of folks in chat on this idea.
Yeah, so I was scrolling through posts in the Firefly Funhouse fan group just to see, I was excited and I want to see what everybody else thought of the return and stuff and whatnot. And I came across this one and I just loved it. And I thought it'd be great to talk about because I totally agree with this. I feel like they weren't coming after anyone specifically. I know some people like initially thought maybe they were just coming after the Street Profits or anything like that, but I love that they attacked everyone that was out there in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, yeah, and them just wrecking shop and causing chaos across the roster to me is a lot scarier.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. They showed that they can be dominant.
Yeah,
They can go and lay waste to people, and that people need to fear them going forward. They're back. They made a big statement, and
yeah. You still there, Chris?
yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. I had something happen with my
Oh.
um something happened with my audio there for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, I agree with this though. I do think that I just feel like it it puts everyone on notice.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I think it also there's a couple things that it does for me. One being it allows WWE to fill in some of the gaps. I think
Mm-hmm.
um, we've all talked about it. It's not like it's a secret. SmackDown has struggled some
Mm-hmm.
weeks. I know that it's going back to 2 hours,
Mm-hmm.
but in the meantime, while it's 3 hours, you got a group,
Yeah.
and it's pretty darn
And the
clear.
ratings have been going down. I've been hearing.
Yeah, yeah, it is pretty darn clear that folks love this group.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not just saying that for the folks here with us watching this video,
Oh yeah, listen to the
but
crowd there. That was a huge pop for their return.
yeah, that pop was crazy. So listen to the fans.
Mm-hmm.
Um, put them on more. Um, Craig said they are gonna feud with DIY first. It just makes sense. There's history there with Nikki and Loomis. Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing the different members of the group going in their own paths too.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've talked about that before, Chris. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that was something I took away from that was that they left the door open for that possibility. We saw Nikki go after oh I'm blanking on her name now. Uh, Johnny Gargano's wife.
Candice LeRae.
Candice LeRae, thank you. I'm blanking on her name. But yeah, we saw her attack them and we saw that, obviously they were targeting a lot of tag teams. I think it would be cool if we saw like Gacy and Loomis go after some tag teams while Nikki's going after Candice or somebody else, or and Howdy is going after somebody. Like, they could totally make that work. They don't all have to be together all the same and only fighting one group or something like that. I think that was a problem they kind of got into before, of only targeting one specific group and trying to have them all go after, them. I think it would be better if they leave them a little more open like this, to where they don't all have to go after the same target. They could, break them up a little bit and have them go after different people. I think that would leave them a lot more room for storylines and matches that they could have.
Yeah. And it doesn't mean that they won't be together as a
Yeah,
group,
of course.
but it just gives them a little more presence on the roster, honestly, and on the show.
Yeah.
And Clown, I understand that too. I understand that logic.
Yeah.
Clown saying I'm holding off excitement until I see them regularly on my TV.
Oh
I
yeah,
get it.
we talked about that before the show too. I hope that they don't fall back into that, start having them missing from TV for weeks in a row and stuff. They really need, they had a great return. The crowd's into it. I hope I hope they keep on that momentum and keep having them
Capitalize.
on there and don't let that happen again. I mean, obviously, an injury or something happens, that happens, and that could derail it. So I'm hoping against that too. But even before there was an injury, they just had him off TV for weeks at a time for no reason. So yeah, I'm really hoping that they don't go down that road again. If they keep him active, and hopefully with the way they brought him back and this thing that they could kind of go after anybody, makes it so that they have more for them to, creatively to do.
Yeah, yeah. And you took the words right out of my mouth. I think that splitting them into different storylines with different people
Mm-hmm.
helps you in the event that you do have
Mm-hmm.
an unfortunate injury.
Yeah, because then you could keep whoever is still there going, whatever feud they were in.
Right, right. You don't lose the whole group because
Mm-hmm.
one person is away. I mean, I get the essence of the group is that they're a family and that they're
Yeah.
one unit, but you got to think about it from keeping them in the limelight, so to speak.
Yeah. And they could still, say Gacy and Loomis are having a tag match. I mean, you probably still have the rest of them all standing around at ringside, come out with them and stuff.
Yeah.
And, so they could still have backstage segments or, videos, vignettes of them and stuff together. And, there's still plenty of stuff they can do together too.
Yeah.
Even
Absolutely.
with them, even if they do or have separate matches or whatever.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Since we kind of talked about this already, but are we leaning more towards this was a one-off attack and they're just going to cause chaos, or do you think they go after the tag team titles like some have mentioned in the chat?
I think it's definitely possible. I mean, it's hard really for any of us to say yet until we see them again, what direction they're going. They definitely left the door open that they could be targeting the tag team division, or maybe they were just coming out to cause a bunch of chaos. That definitely remains to be seen. But I like that they have that door open, and the way that they're doing it too. Their comeback. All of a sudden, I didn't feel this way before, but now with this, the way they came back and everything, I feel like it wouldn't be the worst thing ever if they did all of a sudden want to go after tag team belts or anything like that. Before I wasn't really too keen on the idea of them going after titles. It didn't really make sense. But now with just coming back and just beating everybody up, like it makes more sense,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it makes logical sense that if they run through the roster, that it has to be rewarded at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So why not?
Especially if they, play it off the angle of, they're doing this for Bray. They're winning these championships and dedicating them to Bray or something like that. That would be a really cool way to spin why they would care about championships.
Yeah. Amazing guy saying I thought it was pretty silly for them to not go after the Miz when he was on the show. Let's talk about it.
I feel like maybe, obviously I feel like this is like kind of a giant reset button. So maybe they didn't want to pick back up where they kind of left off and maybe just start a little fresh. Was my thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Since they were, trying to rebooting them a little bit anyway.
Yeah. And
Not that we wouldn't, I think we could definitely revisit that down the road, maybe just not
mhm,
right away. Like I really am still hoping down the road, we get some interaction between them and Carrie and Cross,
yeah,
but not right away. It makes more sense to let them reestablish themselves and
right,
stuff first. But there's plenty of potential there.
right. And I guess the question that I would ask from that standpoint would be, if you're bringing the group back like you did, what makes the bigger impact? Going after the Miz, or just completely upending the match that they upended? What
Yeah,
makes the bigger? What
they
makes the
took out
bigger
most
impact?
of the tag team division.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I don't disagree with them going after Miz. I do think that that will happen,
Mm-hmm.
but I think for right now, even looking at this post here, I think they go after everyone. I
Yeah.
think they just run roughshod over everyone.
Yeah, and maybe we see that down, soon. We see them break off, and a couple of them go after a tag team, and then maybe we see Uncle Howdy go after Miz himself or something like that. I think that would be really cool to get
Yeah.
some of that separation and create multiple storylines.
Yeah. 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 You and Craig saying how they could go after Miz alone. Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, again, you've got so many different directions you can go if the story is not based solely on everyone being
Hmm.
together at all times in everything that they do.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, even thinking back to the OG Wyatt family, they did their own things too.
Hmm.
So yeah, I agree with that too. The amazing guy. It will be interesting to see how they tie the Alexa and Charlotte story into this. I agree. I think it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm definitely
I,
curious about that. Obviously, we've heard Alexa talking about she wants friends, so I'm interested to
yeah,
see where that goes. Are the Wyatts going to be friends with her or not?
yeah, yeah. I mean, how does that end up? That's what I really want to see. And now you got Lily involved, and
Hmm.
who knows what could happen.
And
There's a lot that could happen.
yeah, and we still don't really know what's going, what's up with Charlotte, and
Yeah. Uh, is
there's been
she
a lot
saying?
of rumors of her being like a Dark Queen character. I've been hearing. I'm interested to
Yeah.
see if that pans out or not.
Wow, that would be interesting. Is she saying? How do you think Alexa will get into the Wyatt Six? I don't. That's a good. Their
Hmm.
paths have to cross.
Yeah, I think they definitely will cross, especially being on the same show and stuff,
Yeah.
and obviously like we just said, the teases of Alexa's looking for friends and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be really interesting to see, because yeah, I really have no idea. Maybe they run into each other backstage, or
Hmm.
maybe she's having a match and they decide to come out. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
definitely going to be
And
interesting. And then do they attack her? Do they want to be friends with her?
right.
There's I love all the possibilities here. It's wide open for them to do whatever they want now.
And then to add another layer to that, we were talking about the possibility of each of them kind of doing their own thing. Well, we know that her and Nikki have history.
Hmm.
So is it a possibility that it's Alexa and Nikki? And then once we get that, then we get the whole group to get their
Hmm.
vengeance.
Yeah.
And now everything is moving, towards the same goal
Yeah,
as a family.
we know Alexa's going to be in Money in the Bank. I mean, what if she's climbing up that ladder, reaching for the briefcase, and all of a sudden the lights go out and Nikki shows up? either to prevent her from getting it or help her to get it. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, a lot of possibilities there. Um, this is an interesting picture, Chris.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Yeah, shout
going
out to C
to,
Wrestling on this one. He mentioned
yeah.
this in his video.
So what are we seeing here?
Sure looks like a red circle to me behind Solo.
It does. It does. Um, yeah, it does, man. Alexa Bliss Gamer saying Charlotte could cost Alexa at Money in the Bank.
Yeah, that could happen too.
Yeah. Sean saying it would be it would be interesting if a video package popped up during Money in the Bank women's match, saying "Remember who you are." That would
Mm,
be good.
yeah.
Well, since Ishii asked about it, we're going to talk about it, and that's the tweet.
Yeah,
What are folks thinking about this?
there was a lot in here. Again, shout out to C Wrestling. He had a good video breaking all this stuff down. So the Roman numerals at the top right it spells out the date of Bray's birthday. It was just, a shout out to him for that. The bottom there was a YouTube video link that went to it was a video from the Matrix movie.
Mm.
I can't remember what that said now, but it was just a clip from the movie of one of the scenes. And then the one at the top left there was the one that I was really struggling with figuring out. The other ones I got pretty quickly on my own, but turns out I never played the game, but that is in reference to a quest from the game World of Warcraft.
Mm.
And the title of the quest is called Consequences.
Mm.
It's an anagram there. It said like Zaralek Cavern was the name of the place in World of Warcraft, and it was Chapter 3, Quest 6 on that in that area, and that's what it was. The title of that quest was called Consequences. So found that pretty interesting.
Yeah.
And then the bottom right there, obviously, is a Bible verse, Job 4:8, which I have a graphic of that. As I have observed, those who plow evil and those who sow trouble reap it.
Mm.
And this is something I found really interesting. I saw a lot of people talking about, the attack. They're like, okay, it makes sense for them to go after DIY. They've done some bad things. It makes sense for them to go after Street Profits, same way. But why attack Nathan Frazier? He hasn't done anything wrong. They just came up to SmackDown. They're good guys. Why did they attack them? And so my thoughts on that after seeing this verse is that no one is truly good. We all do evil, every one of us. None of us are perfect. Everyone does bad things. So no one, I feel, is truly exempt from reaping what they sow and stuff. So the Wyatt Sicks, in my opinion, could go after anyone. Everyone's done wrong and deserves some punishment for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, none of us are exempt,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I think. Yeah. And again, we talked about it from a story perspective. They could quite literally go after anyone
Mm-hmm.
with this logic.
Yeah. Doesn't matter if they're heel, face, anybody.
Yeah. And I think that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because it makes it unpredictable. I mean, obviously, as fans, especially if you really follow the storylines like we do and many others, you want to see them go after. You want to see what the heck is the deal with Alexa.
Mm-hmm.
Then you want to see them go after the Miz. You want to see them go after Cross. You want to see Randy Orton at some point. There are a lot of stories that you want to see that you expect, but it's cool having just completely random stuff too, I think.
Oh yeah, I like that they're hopefully maybe that's something that came about from the opening run that they had, that they leaving it more open a lot just gives them more possibilities. They don't have to worry about falling into a trap of only going after other factions or anything like that. I think leaving the door open is way better, that they could literally go after anyone anytime.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. I think that there's a world of possibility, and hopefully, and again, back to Clown's point, I completely understand and would not fault you for feeling that way
Oh yeah,
at all.
as Brave fans, we've all been burned many times.
Exactly. So completely understandable.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, like in my opinion, we have to see them next week.
Yeah.
They cannot take a week off after that.
Right.
We have to see them again next week.
Right. I mean, I think at this point, with the length of time that they've been off TV, I think in some ways you kind of have to counteract that. So I think having them be more active on social media, having them on the shows in some capacity weekly.
Yeah.
Like you can't skip a week and be like, oh, we just didn't have time. No.
Yeah.
They need to be on the show weekly.
Yeah.
Whether it's out there beating up people or vignettes, or maybe they take someone that they beat up and we get a vignette or a video of that.
Yeah.
But I think in some ways you gotta have them on every single week.
Yeah. Even that, I feel like they could fall back into the trap like they did before, where they'd have just only vignettes for 3 or 4 weeks, and are like, they still need to be pretty active out in person, in my opinion, too.
Yeah, no, I get that point
Fine if
too.
they want to, if they do a vignette and they come out, that's even better. But
right. I get that point. But I am pretty excited. I'm cautiously optimistic, I'll say.
And I like that. To me, like I said, it really felt like a big reset to me.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful that now that we can forget about the past troubles and move forward, and hopefully it'll be better this time. Fingers crossed.
Yeah. I said that I was going to get into this, and I'm going to now. Before we get into what we believe is next, and kind of talking a little bit more like we were just then about what we hope to see. But Friday, I was looking at social media for work, and I realized that I also had a notification on my personal Facebook, so I switched over to my personal profile and I checked out what the notification was. Then my fault, I hit home and it refreshed, and first thing that popped up.
It's always the first thing too.
First thing, yeah.
Exactly. I actually had that happen to me the other day. I hadn't watched Battleground yet, and I had it spoiled for me about Trick Williams and Joe Hendry. I'm like, oh, damn it.
Yeah. First thing that pops up.
Yep.
Fightful reports that the Wyatt Sicks are backstage and blah, 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 blah. And my first emotion was complete joy. Knowing that it was Bray's birthday, I was like, okay, we probably could have put 2 and 2 together, but we put 2 and 2 together before, and the math didn't math then. So, don't want to assume anything because you know the saying about assuming. So I was happy, and then immediately after that, I was pissed off because I was like, can't we just have we can't have nice things like
Mhm.
we can't have
Yeah.
nice things because people have to report on every single thing. And I said this earlier in the chat, but I think certain things, certain storylines, certain characters, certain people should be off limits when it comes to that kind of thing.
Mhm.
Um, because I get it. Kayfabe is dead. We all get it.
Yeah.
But let's keep a little bit a little bit of it alive
Yeah.
when it comes to these type of stories because I mean honestly if the reports would have been that let's say they didn't do that before the show and they waited until after.
Mhm.
They could have said something like, "We heard, at blah 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 time that the Wyatt Sicks were here, and the plans were to do the tribute that they did, and here's who
Mhm.
produced it, here's who did this, here's who did that." For all
Yeah.
of the people who just have to know all that information, um, and then put it out there. And
Yeah.
listen, I don't own any any journalism. I don't own any companies or any magazines or any journalistic ventures, but what I would say is please be mindful
Mhm.
that people still like to be surprised.
Mhm.
People still like the element of surprise. People and listen, even though it was spoiled for me, it was still a great moment. But I can't help but wonder how much greater that moment would have been.
Mhm.
How much more emotionally I would have been invested in the moment, the entirety of the segment, if I had not known anything.
Yeah.
If I didn't know to look for it. I just I don't know. I That's just my little midweek grievance, I guess we can say. Since we didn't do between the ropes this week. But that's my little grievance. I just wish that sometimes people didn't think about the dollars and cents of it, and they
Mhm.
thought about the real reason why people enjoy wrestling and
Mhm.
follow characters and people like Bo Dallas, like Eric Rowan, like Nikki Cross, like Joe Gacy, like Dexter Loomis,
Yeah.
like Alexa Bliss. You know, I I just think sometimes it's a little selfish.
Yeah.
Um, and you know what? And to the folks that share all this stuff, be mindful of what you share too, because you might have some people that follow you that don't want to know.
Mhm.
They just want to be surprised.
Yeah.
So
That's what I
be
was going to say to add on to that is obviously we ain't getting rid of the dirt sheets anytime soon. Like
no,
they're going to
no,
be here. But at least if you don't want to see that, you can not follow them, not seek out that information. And the people that do want to go seek that information, go ahead. Go look at the dirt sheets if that's what you want
yeah,
to do. Go ahead. The problem, like you said, is other people sharing it and just spreading it even further because I may not follow a dirt sheet, but I follow someone else who follows a dirt sheet and they post about the dirt sheet and then I end up seeing it. Like, yeah, let the dirt sheets do their thing, whatever. Don't help them spread that stuff out and ruin other people that want to be surprised.
yeah. I yeah. I can't add any more because
Hmm.
it's just think of other people, please.
Yeah.
That's all. Um, Before we get into what's next, Deadman has a good question. What did you guys think of Trick Williams winning the TNA world title. Chris, what did you think?
I was not happy. As a huge Joe Hendry fan, I was not happy. I did not think that this was a good time to take the title off him, especially not to an NXT superstar. Yeah, I don't get it, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think obviously we don't know backstage stuff,
hmm
but if the reports are true about Joe Hendry being injured,
hmm
he might need some time off.
hmm Yeah.
And I think if, depending on if that's the case, if he is injured and he does need time off, depending on how long that is, you have Slammiversary coming up.
hmm
And could Trick hold it until then, lose it at Slammiversary? Completely possible. You
hmm
also have Against All Odds coming up on the 7th, I
hmm
believe. Another possibility.
Yeah.
So I think that a lot of it was done, if, in my opinion. I think some of it was done from a marketing and shock factor
hmm
standpoint.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, for sure.
I think it was done in a way to hopefully put more eyes on TNA come
hmm
Thursday.
Yeah.
We shall see. But it was definitely shocking,
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah. Like I said, unfortunately, I had it spoiled for me, but I still watched it anyway, just 'cause I was curious to see how it happened. I will say, in the saving grace, at least it wasn't clean. Like he hit him on the title belt that he brought in and stuff. So at least there was that there that wasn't he didn't totally legit beat Joe Hendry. So that I feel like that helped a little bit. Um, and I am curious. I will say that if I like the potential here, and Christopher's already mentioned in the chat, I really like Mike Santana, and obviously we know he's going to be going after Trick Williams. I would not mind it if they do end up. They're not going to put it back on Joe Hendry. I would not mind at all seeing Mike Santana take the
Yeah.
TNA belt off of him.
Yeah, I agree. I think Mike Santana makes a lot of sense. The fact that he showed up and he has a match tonight on NXT,
hmm
absolutely love it.
Yeah.
Um,
And now
he
that it's
deserves it.
happened and a title's been crossed over, I
Mhm.
really want to see somebody from TNA win an NXT belt now.
Agreed.
If they don't do that, then it's too one-sided. And
Agreed. Absolutely agree. Jesse saying, fun fact, I actually fell asleep to some degree in the main event match, though I could still hear it. And when I woke up, the first thing I saw was Rowan running across my screen, and I was like, they're back. And I rewound to watch it
oh
this
yeah, that's
morning.
probably that
Yeah.
big double clothesline he gave. Hmm.
Yeah. James saying, I love Joe Hendry, but this needed to happen to make the partnership legit. Um, is Alexa Bliss' sister Abigail? No.
No, that's Nikki.
Yeah. Chris saying, if it's not Joe Hendry, I would want Mike Santana
Yeah,
to win the
totally
world.
agree.
Yeah. Yeah. Dead Man saying, I think Moose should win the NXT world title. What? I would love that.
Yeah, and
Would love
I thought that they were could potentially do that a while back when he fought Obafemi, and really, I mean, I was trying to think about that the other day. I did not think Miles Bourne was going to beat Obafemi for the belt. I'm like, who can? And you've
Right.
got to have somebody big and dominant to beat Obafemi at this point.
Yeah.
And the only name that comes to mind is Moose. Maybe
Moose,
they'll
yeah.
have him challenge again, and he does it. I think that would be the perfect person to beat Obafemi.
Now let me throw this out there for all my TNA watchers. What if Moose uses option C, but he says, I don't want to go after the TNA world title.
Mm.
I want to go after the NXT
Oh, I like that.
title. How would you feel about that?
That'd be cool, but obviously he's already done that and failed. So what's he going to do differently this time to get it done? Would be the only thing. Like,
He has challenged Oba before. I feel like this time we have to see. I think it's going to involve Moose, and this makes it sound even more impossible. But I think it's going to take Moose separating from the system
mm-hmm.
and really hitting a gear on his own
Yeah.
in his character that we haven't seen yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what takes him over the edge. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I will say though, I mean, Miles Bourne looked good in that match, and he definitely started to show a little bit that that there's some opportunity there. Oba could be beat. Miles came close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he can be beat. I think if you're gonna do it, and I think if you're gonna go there with the partnership, now that we have this, why not?
Yeah.
And I think it has to be Moose. I don't think there's. I mean, one could argue Frankie could do the same thing with the gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
That would be interesting if Oba was in a match, and got jumped or something.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say Dark State jumps him. Frankie all of a sudden is on NXT television
Mm-hmm.
and is like, "Hey, I'm here to do this. Call some K." It would be so chaotic but so fun.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, um, that's my pie in the sky idea, I would say. All right, so before we end the show, Chris, I just want to take a couple minutes and talk about what we think is next. And what I know we kind of talked about it before, what we'd like to see.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think is next? What would you like to see? And we're going to put it into the universe that it's going to be Friday. What would you like to see Friday?
I would like to see them just come attack some more random people. Like, say there's another match, a triple threat match or something going on, and they just come out and take all of them out. Like, I would not be mad at all to see if the first couple weeks of them being back was just them establishing their dominance and showing that everybody better be on notice. No matter who it is, at any point you could be attacked. We could just go and take out and disrupt any match we want to, take anybody out we want to, like just put everyone on notice. I would absolutely love that. I feel like that would be a really good way to make them feared again and establish what they are. And and it's I know some people criticize before, even though I don't necessarily agree with it, that they leaned a little too much into supernatural or spooky stuff. I don't think they did, but I can see where some people could say that. And I feel like this time that seems like they're setting it up to be a little more on the wrestling level. Like, yes, they're creepy looking, and and I'm sure they'll still explore that in vignettes and backstory and stuff. But at the end of the day, they're still wrestlers, and they're still out here to beat people up and win matches. And I think that's a good thing, because obviously
Yeah,
that's gonna lead them the most storylines, matches, and potential for them.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree, man. I agree. I think all I know is this: I'm happy. I'm happy
Yeah,
that we're
me
back.
too. Finally,
Finally,
first
yeah,
time
yeah,
in 2025 they've been on our TV screens.
yeah. And we're in late May, so
Yeah.
says all we need to say. TJ saying Jeff and Chris, before Cena retires, do you think we get Howdy versus Cena as a throwback to continuing the circle? I personally think we will, since it's also the title Bray never was pinned for.
I hope so. I would absolutely love to see that match. I really hope we do.
I maybe this is too cheesy, but I like the idea of that being one of the last things that he does,
Hmm.
and he turns face as a
Yeah,
result.
that would be really cool if they tie it into that, part of that turning him back. Maybe Howdy even mentions how about Bray calling him out for who he was and stuff, and it helps make Cena realize, and he turns back or something. That would be a really cool way to tie that in, because I fully believe that he will before the end. I don't think he'll retire as a heel. I really think that he'll turn back face, so that would be a cool way to do it, involving Howdy in it and tying Bray back into it, given all their history.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love to see it. Would love to see it. All right, Chris. Any final thoughts before we head out?
Um, like we talked about, I really hope that got my fingers crossed. I'm hoping that they have a better showing this run, and that they don't let them fall into obscurity again and keep them off TV. I really hope that, like you said, maybe even if they overuse them for a month or so, that wouldn't be a bad thing, just to help reestablish them and win people's trust back. It's something else I wanted to mention too. I've seen a lot of I've watched a lot of reactions and things that people have said about it. And obviously there's some people like, why are we doing this? I don't care about these guys, blah, 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 blah. And, you know, and that's fine. I understand it's not going to be for everybody, and that not everyone's going to be a fan of the Wyatt Sicks, but this just made me realize, like, just because something isn't for you, try and think about the people that it is for. Like, this is such a huge deal to all of us, especially with the birthday cake and tribute to Bray on his birthday, that we need this. There are people out there that almost every storyline, there's probably somebody out there that's really into it and really enjoys it. So don't be quick to, not anybody in here, but just otherwise, like, don't be quick to crap on something that you necessarily may not like, because there's probably some people out there that really do like it, and it's important to them. Like, this is so important to this community, that they keep carry on Bray's legacy and stuff. It's personal to us. So, other people may be asking why they're back. Well, they're back because of us and the real fans that need them.
Sorry about that. The dogs are.
It's all right.
Sorry about that.
So there's my little grievance.
Sorry, I'm trying to wait for him to hush. But all right. So
There's a lot of us that cried about that, and that was big for us.
a lot of us needed that.
Yeah.
There's the other one. Yeah, a lot of us needed that. So, yeah, I mean, if you don't like something, you don't like something, but you don't have to crap on it, because there are people that like it, and there are probably things that you like that other people don't like, but you don't see people crapping on your favorite thing. So, all right, well, that's gonna do it for us for this week, Chris. This was a lot of fun. Everybody in chat, thank you all so much for tuning in this week and joining us, sharing your ideas and theories, and just your thoughts on what we saw. So, yeah, this was a lot of fun. We're putting it out into the universe that we're going to have even more to talk about next Tuesday.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully we have some more to talk about, and they show back up again on Friday.
Absolutely. And we'll be back on Thursday, which should be a very, very intriguing episode of TNA. Like, it's must watch, because I have to see what we do going forward. I gotta see it.
Who would have ever thought something like this would happen with WWE involved?
Right. I mean, yeah, this is wild. So wild times we're living in. So come join us on Thursday, 7:45 p.m. Eastern, here on the channel. But yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Chris, thank you again, man. And again, thank you everyone. Yeah, a lot of fun, man. Thank you everyone again in the chat. Drop a like on the video if you haven't already, and if you're new, hit that subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it. But we are going to head out, go watch some NXT tonight, or if you don't watch NXT, just have a good evening. And if you watch AEW, enjoy that tomorrow night. Come join us on Thursday. Enjoy SmackDown on Friday, which we're putting that in the universe. Just saying. But all right, folks, you guys take care. Have a great rest of your week, and hopefully we'll see you again for our next episode of Fireflies Forever. Take care, everyone.
I'm the color red in a world full of black and white.
Brace for the change, brace for the rage, brace for the wave. I've been going through it. Y'all know the pain, driving me insane, deep in your veins. Y'all know how I prove it. Strut through the lanes, gripping the grain. Miles an hour, yeah, miles of fluid. Mask on, asking, why should I do it? Because no one is moving. I came from the swamp, the mud. Algorithm told me I was the plug. Feel for the fiend, you know what I mean. I've been through all of the lesson and hugs, and that is because I've had an all hope.